السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. My dear respected listeners, it is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are sitting in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a place dedicated to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are gathered to pray and stand and submit in humiliation before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of that is by the mercy and special permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow one, they cannot enter the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, we have to give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Ya Allah, it is all thanks to you that you let us come to your place of worship. Last night we had Laylatul Nisf min Sha'ban, which is the half mark of the month of Sha'ban, and the month of Ramadan is almost upon us, alhamdulillah. As we have been mentioning for the past 1 or 2 weeks, the month of Ramadan deserves that there is preparation made for it before time. The Prophet ﷺ has told us that the first 10 days of the month of Ramadan are mercy, are the days of rahmah, blessing. Who are those people who get the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right from the beginning of the month of Ramadan? It is those very people who prepare ahead for that month, who care and give value to that month, rather than being negligent, forgetful until the month actually starts, and then we start fasting, and if we care about those things, all our schedule is disturbed, and then we feel like yes, something has changed in our life, and then in a matter of 5 or 10 days we start to come in shape, come in form for the month of Ramadan. The best thing to do is to start preparing for the month of Ramadan. Last week it was mentioned the Prophet ﷺ used to fast a lot in the month of Sha'ban, the month before Ramadan. That also one reason was to prepare oneself for the month of Ramadan, the month of fasting. Living in this society, in our setup, there's a few things that we should pay particular importance to. The one thing that is at the core of everything else is that living in this society, it is very easy to lose your sense of being who you are, to forget who you are, to forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to forget about you being a Muslim. Yes, we are all Muslims. We have said La ilaha illallah. We were, most of us, born in a Muslim family, but we are satisfied and content with what we have, and we forget that being a Muslim is an everyday thing, is something that we have to consciously do all the time. It's not something that we have and we are happy with it and we don't do anything about it and then we are in good shape. It is a struggle that we have to do every day, and we have to, this is something that we have to be conscious of all the time. So therefore, particularly when this month is approaching, we have to see how much are we connected to Islam, our deen, and the things of deen. At work, we interact with people who do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we go out for shopping, for anything else, we interact with people who do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We look at things that are derived based on desire and want rather than submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the things, even if you are passing on the road, the things that you will see, they will not call you towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will not remind you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will only call you towards this dunya and desire and fulfilling your desire. So therefore, my dear respected brothers, we have to ask ourselves this question: what is my relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in life? What is my exposure to deen in my life? And my dear respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a system where a Muslim cannot forget about them being a Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mandated that a person comes to the masjid 5 times a day. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned it, that what do you think about a person who has this lake or this stream of water and they wash themselves 5 times a day in that stream of water, in that body of water? Will any filth, will any dirt remain on them? And the Sahaba said, no, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ said, this is the example of Salah. You pray 5 times a day, you come to the masjid, it is not possible that you forget about you being a Muslim. The filth that you collect from the environment outside is washed right here. So my dear respected brothers, one thing before Ramadan enters is we have to try our best to increase our coming to the masjid. And I do not say that this is the only place that you should come. There is other masajid in Madison. Alhamdulillah, there is 3 other masajid. Go there wherever you like, but connect with the masjid. Connect with the masjid. For Allah's sake, connect with the masjid. There you will get a daily reminder in some sort, in some form. It does not have to be a speech. It does not have to be a talk. You will look at people who are Muslims and that will be a reminder for you that you are a Muslim as well. Therefore, get in the habit of coming to the masjid. Coming to the masjid. When Ramadan enters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it further easy that you are connected, you are already connected with the masjid, or you are already in the habit of, or at least you have this in your mind, that at least I go to my masjid at least once a day. Things will become easier for you. Reminders will be given, and those, even if you hear them heedlessly, they will have their effect. Such is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Virtue always has its effect. Good talk always has its effect, no matter how heedlessly you hear it. Second thing is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us that there's a few people who do not get anything with fasting except for staying hungry and staying awake at night. In the month of Ramadan, if you stay awake at night, there's some people who do not get anything except staying hungry and staying awake at night. We have to make sure that the struggle that we do in the month of Ramadan does not go down the drain. We have to make sure that it does not go to waste. And how do we do that? We safeguard our fasting and we safeguard our staying awake at night. And how do we do that? We protect ourselves from sinning. We protect ourselves from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that change does not come overnight, but the consciousness has to be developed. We have to think, we have to ask ourselves, what are the things in my life that I am doing, that I am habitual of doing, but in reality they are forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at our conversations are filled with either showing off or degrading others in their face or behind their back. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Similarly, our hearts, we have to check, do they have hatred or enmity for somebody? Do we have this desire within us that whenever we get a chance, we are going to pay them back, we are going to harm them somehow? Such people, they do not get the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to see if our parents are not happy with us. Our mother and father, if they are alive, we have to go and see, have we hurt them sometime? Have we not listened to them, and do they have a long-term pain from our side in their heart? Maybe they do not mention it, maybe they are graceful and they care about us that they don't ever mention it, but we have to go check and make sure that they are not carrying anything in their hearts from our side. Similarly, our eating, what we consume, has to be halal. We have to make sure that this is halal, absolutely halal. Remember, we are fasting all day, and if we are breaking the fast with haram food, will this fast be accepted in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is a widespread corruption in this society of Islamic, in Muslims, that we do not like to, because we like food so much that we do not like to take care about the standards of halal. We have, different people have come up with different weird explanations that never existed in the 1400 years of history of Islam. People have said zabiha is something else, halal is something else. That has never existed in the history of Islam. A meat is never halal if it is not zabiha. And zabiha has to fulfill those 4 conditions. Make sure that whatever you are consuming in Ramadan is strictly on the standards of halal. Because when else will you start caring about it? When else will you start caring about it? This is the month of Ramadan. So therefore, briefly mentioning those things, very important, that wherever you are, if you are using meat, wherever you're getting it, make sure that the animal is slaughtered by a Muslim. It is slaughtered at the neck. Preferably 3 or at least 2 of the vessels. The jugular vein, the jugular veins on the each side, the trachea, the windpipe, and the food pipe. These are the 4 vessels. At least 2 have to be severed at the time of slaughter, preferably 3. And the animal loses its life by this slaughter at the neck, not by a cut at anywhere else in the body, not by stunning. The life has to be lost by slaughtering at the neck in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mentioned at the time of every single slaughter. If these 4 conditions are not met, that food, that animal is not zabiha, it is not halal, it is not permissible to be consumed. There is no other time to clearly put this in our mind, my dear respected brothers. If we do not take care about halal, our fasting does go to waste. Our fasting is not accepted in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. So therefore, these few things that I like to mention, there is still time, there is 15 days. We can plan ahead. We can buy groceries from places. By the way, as somebody, if you listen to, it is my responsibility that I mention that in our city, so far we do not have any place that serves this kind of meat. The closest that we have to go to is Milwaukee or in Chicago. So therefore, there is an association of ulama that makes sure that this is taken care of at the places at the slaughterhouses. It is called Halal Monitoring Service. I have personal introduction to them. I know them personally, and I know that they are very stringently and very carefully taking care that these standards are met at wherever they certify, wherever they give their certification, and they do it free of cost. So they don't have any worldly interest, and they are unique in this. So therefore, my recommendation would be, make sure that you check for Halal Monitoring Services HMS certification before you consume any meat. Apart from that, whatever else is certified, we do not expressly call it haram, but we know for sure that it is not. We don't know for sure that it is certainly halal either. So these are the few things. Take care, guard your conversations, guard your heart, guard your sight, and guard what you put in through your mouth into the stomach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us those who reap the benefits of Ramadan even before Ramadan comes. And how do we do that? When you prepare for something, when you work hard for something, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that even if you don't get it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still rewards you for the struggle and the effort that you put in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from the speaker and the listener. Amin ya rabbal alameen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqi sayyidina Muhammad.